Today we're gonna have a lovely discussion while it's raining. I have to be right up underneath this tree here because it's raining a lot. Okay. But I'm under this massive tree here. And I wanna speak about how you are actually the creator of your experience and how you can change your experience to whichever way you want it. And this is very vital information that I'm sharing with you. And this kind of information, I will call it 33rd degree information. Yet I'm not a part of the brotherhood. Okay. And the reason why I will call it 33rd degree information, it is because of experience, what they refer to as the 33 degree. Okay. And no one has ever taught that to me. And as I stated before, I've never joined any secret society or brotherhood. The reason I say that, it is because what I experience at the base of my spine to the crown of my head. And that backbone that bears the 33 bones of the vertebra. My intuition tells me, and my experience tells me that that is Jacob's ladder. It tells me that is when you transcend or ascend up to that area at the base of your spine, that you experience that 33rd degree. Because that 33rd degree is still a 360 degree. It's a circle. It's you experiencing your eternal self. It is you coming to the power of 9. It is you experiencing alchemy. It is you experiencing transmutation. It is you experiencing your magnetic and electrical self. It is you experiencing creation and understanding the art of creating. And so you can create consciously, you can create deliberately, and you understand thoughts vibration. You understand a radio station. You understand a GPS signal station. You understand communication. You understand that there is an infinite divine communication link that is in each and every one. That is why I want you to take this information seriously, knowing that you are the creator of your experience. You see, when you have a very burning, yearning desire, you must not associate that yearning, burning desire with the flesh. You must always see that burning, yearning desire that will help you to better yourself and put you in a better position that you're yearning. Okay, you must always see it as a spiritual experience. You must see it as you having a spiritual sensation. Like for example, in the physical 3-dimensional wall of sex, okay, in the physical realm, when we have that horny feeling, it's a burning desire. It's a yearning desire. It's a more animalistic desire. It is a desire that you want to fulfill. Well, if you could see it in the spiritual realm, of when you have a desire to accomplish something in this world, that feeling of obsession, that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling that you want to have, you must have that feeling in the now, as in right now. So you just change that feeling into your experience now. So if you have the feeling of being a millionaire and you live in that feeling of being a millionaire, all the doors and opportunities will be open for you to have the experience, but you have to live in the feeling of the experience before you have the experience and chase three-dimensional physical world. So you live as a millionaire in the non-physical world so you can live as a millionaire in the physical three-dimensional world. Millions of people around the world are going to jobs that they do not love. And the reason why that they are going to jobs that they do not love, because they do not realize that they are the creator of their experience. And so that they're having an experience that is keeping them sick, that is keeping them ill, that is keeping them in hurt and pain. They are experiencing something that they themselves don't really want to experience, but because of the lack of knowledge, they do not know that they are creating it to themselves. And so they blame the boss, they blame the government, they blame everything except themselves, because they're not aware that they are the creator of their own experiences in life. Today, the lawyers are well paid. The judges are well paid. The profession of being a lawyer is a well-paying job because of people's ignorance of the law. I'm talking about divine infinite law, universal laws, such as the law of mentalism, understanding how your mind works, understanding that your mind is a signal station that works on the level of vibration and frequency, because your essence is energy. You're energetic being, a spirit being living in a body. Well, this spirit is limitless. This spirit is light. This spirit moves at a certain speed, the speed of thought. So in the spiritual realm, you travel by the speed of thought. You don't need any tongue to speak. You don't need any ears. You don't need any nose. These senses is already intact in the spiritual world. That is why when you close your eyes and you go into meditation and visualization, you forget about this physical world and what this physical world is saying to you. When you look around, you see all the signs that is telling you that there's lack and scarcity, and you doubt that. That is why the good book, which is the book of mind science, it states that if you are poor, you have to say that you're rich. It is saying that you have to learn to embrace the lie and realize that the truth is the lie and the lie is the truth. It's just the opposite at each other. So he said, let the poor say, I am rich. It is telling you to tell yourself a lie and always live in the lie. Then it will become true. You transmute what seems to be a lie in this physical three-dimensional world. You see that in the non-physical world, it doesn't see a lie. It accepts the feeling. So even the Bible, which is a book of mind science, it tells you, if you feel like a millionaire, you'll become a millionaire. If you feel like a multi-millionaire, you'll definitely become a multi-millionaire. If you feel like a billionaire, you'll become a billionaire. It's all states of mind. It's all state of consciousness. So if you're listening to me, whatsoever you're facing, you're the cause of it. Yes. Many of us grew up in countries that have been colonized. Yes, from a young age, they colonize our mind with limiting beliefs. Yes, they use the education system to infiltrate our subconscious mind. Yes, they give certain opportunities to people based on their association. That's how the system is. That's how the system set up. Okay? But you have to understand the system and realize that's how the system is gonna always be, because there's only rich and poor in the world. There's no two ways about it. There's no in between. You're either rich or you poor. And riches and poverty is all have to do with one's mentality. There's so much black people all around the world who's struggling with poverty because It is because of their mentality. It is because of their belief system. It is because they are not aware that they are the creator of their experiences in life. You are the creator of everything that's happening in your life. You're facing segregation, you create it, because if you have a mindset that tells you that America, England, Canada, and these places are the land of opportunity, you're going to travel there, and the majority of people that live there is not people like you, and they didn't shape their economy for people like you in a way to benefit you or give you certain favors, then you're going to work your ass off and work 10 times harder than them. But if you understand that you was placed in a certain country for a certain reason, and you were supposed to use your God ability because you was given common sense, which is your God sense. And if you want to read more about common sense, get my book called Meditate to Eradicate Poverty. This is it right here. Okay, I have a chapter on common sense. Your common sense is actually a God sense. And most black people are not using the common sense. That's why they give them theology sense. They give them Bible sense. They give them church sense. They give them nonsense to the preachers, the televangelists, and the political leaders. Okay, they give you nonsense. So they don't use your God sense. So there's God sense and nonsense. So common sense and nonsense. Okay, so they keep your nonsense instead of your common sense. That's why they make sure they keep you busy, so you can't think. Your problem is thinking. If you are working for meager wages right now and you listen to me, it is because you're having the wrong conversation when you conversate with yourself. And when you conversate with yourself, the reason why you're having wrong conversation, it is because of your belief system. And the reason why you have that belief system, because it was passed down to you from parents to parents, and you have to shift your DNA. You do not believe that you can shift your DNA, then you'll all be a loser. You believe someone has to come from the sky to save you, then you'll all be a loser. You believe that someone is coming to save you, you'll all be a loser. You believe that someone outside of yourself love you, then you'll all be a loser. You're looking for someone to say some Jesus or someone outside love you, then you'll all be a loser. You have to love yourself, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to embrace in yourself to become a conscious and a deliberate creator. When you become a conscious and a deliberate creator, you can remember when you set certain thing in motion, and then you see it come to fruition. You could all the time turn around and say, I remember when. There's so much events in my life. I could go back and I say, I remember when I set this in motion. I remember when I had this burning desire. I remember when I said this to myself. I remember when I drove the car that I'm driving now, before I ever drove that car, when I had no money. I remember. You could always say, I remember when this land had no house on it, and I look at it, and I desired, and I wanted to buy it, and I didn't have no money in the bank. But a way was open up for me to be able to purchase this land and purchase this home. Now I could purchase this land, now I could purchase this home. But it all started in my mind. And I couldn't see it, I couldn't touch it, I couldn't taste it, I couldn't smell it, I couldn't do none of that. But I acted upon it because I believe it. And why do I believe it? Because I believe in my non-physical self. If my non-physical self is the all, if my non-physical self is the ultimate intelligence, if my non-physical self is omnipotent and omniscient and omnipresent, then it means that I am limitless. And if I am limitless, then no one can stop me from having and being and doing the things I want to have and be and do in this world, because I am conscious that I am a creator and I will create my life the way how I want it to be. So that's why I no longer live in scarcity. I no longer live in lack. I no longer live in doubt. I no longer live in fear. I no longer look for outside savior. I no longer look for outside creator. I don't believe in no God in the sky. I believe in the creative power that is in me. I believe in the infinite power that is in me. I believe in the inner intelligence that is in me. I believe in the words that have been spoken right now, because that which is in me is the intelligence that has been able to teach men everywhere to become innovators and creators and inventors. I am the inventor of every experience in my life. I am the innovator of every experience in my life. There's only cause and effect. I am the cause of everything in my life. I'm the one who caused myself to drive what I am driving. I'm the one who caused myself to live where I am living. I'm the one who caused myself to have the bank account that I have. I am the one who caused myself to be in the relationship that I am in. Everything that you are part of, you have to realize that you are the cause of it. So there's no one to blame but self. There's no one to change but self. Everything is an expression of self. Man, know thyself. When you know yourself, you know the cause of everything in this life. When you know yourself, you know the economy. When you know yourself, you know why there are wars. When you know yourself, you know why there are churches. When you know yourself, you know why there are politicians. When you know yourself, you know why there are prisons. When you know yourself, you know why there are lawyers and judges. When you know yourself, you know why you have people who are broke and poor and miserable. When you know yourself, you know what the rich tell their children. When you know yourself, you know what the poor tell their children. When you know yourself, you know all things. Because you are in alignment with y'all. So, my brother, my sisters, let this message empower you to become the best version of yourself, knowing that you are the creator of your experience. Now, on the subject of slavery, let me touch that because I feel in my heart someone is asking themselves a question. Asking, am I the cause of slavery? Do you realize even in the time of slavery, you had a choice? You could have thrown yourself off board and drown yourself. You could have commit suicide. I could have fight to the death. Do you realize even if your feet have been handcuffed and your hands have been handcuffed, when they reach to the destination, they used to take off they used to take the chains off your feet and the chains off your hand and they put you on a plantation. And you have a choice. Whether you were going to fight to death, or you was going to commit suicide, or you was going to liberate yourself. Many liberate themselves while many chose to be slaves. And up to this day, they continue to be slaves. That is why you'll always have the slaves and you'll always have the masters and you'll always have those who are free. But I am free and I'm teaching you how to be free because your mind gives you the freedom to be whatsoever you want to be on this planet. You can either be the employer or you could be the employee. The choice is yours. But remember, you didn't born big. You born small and you grow and you grow and you grow and you expand and you grow and you expand. So when you get a job, you work to learn. Don't work to earn. So many people around the world, they work to earn. That's why sometimes they go and they have placards and protesting against employers and protesting against the system, wasting the time and giving their energy away. Because when you do that, it means that you're in survival mode and you're just working to earn and you live your life just working to earn, working to earn. But you never work to learn. You never work to learn. There's so many black people working in Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay, Kentucky Fried Chicken is the biggest fast food place in my country. So I already use Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay, every time you go in Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's just strictly black people working. Okay, and the owner is never black. Okay, I've never been a black person owning and running Kentucky in my country. And then when you look on the box of Kentucky, it's never a black man or a black woman is on the box of Kentucky. But we're doing all of the damn labor in Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's the black people doing all of the labor. Yet no one can come and say, look, I can own a chicken company like Kentucky. You don't have to name Kentucky. You don't have to be like Kentucky. You just take the pattern. You take the pattern. You're telling me if 10 people come together, we can run a franchise like that and make it even better than Kentucky? Make it better than Kentucky. Do you realize if all the people in my country refuse to work at Kentucky, there can't be no Kentucky in the country? There could never be no Kentucky Fried Chicken in my country if everybody refuse to work at Kentucky. If they say, I don't want that kind of salary, I deserve more than that. But people do not know their value and people do not know what they deserve because they do not know that they are the conscious and deliberate creator of their experiences in life. They do not know. That's why they don't draw out from their experience and become educated. Do you know the amount of black women around the world who say, I have a degree? And the degree is just a receipt for the loan you borrow from the bank. And to be truthful with what I am saying to you, if you know that real education is to draw out from, and you start to draw out from your gifts, you start to draw out from your talent, and you really find your gift. Do you know when you find your gift have to open up doors for you? Do you know when you find your gift have to open up opportunities for you? Because when you find your gift, you find the ability that God gives you, which is basically your God ability to create. You've been given a God ability to create, and you're denying it by looking at outside for some Lord and some Savior to save you, my brother and my sisters. That's what I'm saying to you. It's time for our people to wake up and embrace the higher self and realize that you are the creator of everything that you're experiencing in your life. So you working for $10 an hour, you are the creator of that. You working for just $17 an hour, you are the creator of that. Do you know that you could work for $100 an hour? Do you know that you can work for $1,000 an hour? Do you know you can work for $2,000 an hour? Do you know you can work for $3,000 an hour? Yes, you can. Do you know if you really was to do the some maths, okay, concerning running a grocery shop, even a supermarket, you would realize every item on a supermarket shelf is a source of income. So on a supermarket shelf, you might have, let's say you have 5,000 items on a supermarket shelf. That's 5,000 sources of income. 5,000 sources of income on a supermarket shelf. If you have 10,000 items, that 10,000 sources of income. You have 20,000 items, that 20,000 sources of income. If you have 100,000 items in your business, it's 100,000 sources of income. If you could influence the life of 1,000 people, you can have 1,000 different sources of income also. So how much people's life could you help? And how much problem could you solve on this planet? And I'm saying, most black people have wasted their life trying to change other people more than they change themselves. And the reason why, because they get trapped in religion. They get trapped in confusion. They get trapped in contradiction. They get trapped in a lie. And up to this day, they can't realize that it is a lie. Focus on changing yourself and you will change your world, because whether you believe it or not, you are the creator of every experience in your life. If you ever experience prejudice, it is because you are the cause. If you ever experience anything at all, you are the cause. How did you find yourself in that environment? How did you vibrate to that extent that come into that environment with those people? Or you end up walking in someone else's home? How you end up cooking and washing in someone else's home? Do you realize from the early days of me growing up and I looking at black people on television, there was always someone home cooking and washing, and that was the image they portray? And many people never sit down and ask themselves, how could we be different? How could we be better? And most of the time, these people are always religious and superstitious. How is it that the people who are religious and superstitious was not the people who came up with the idea to print money? Imagine you the one who print money. What kind of conversation you're gonna have with your children when you're sending them to school? You gotta explain to your children, I'm just sending you to school because we have the world believing in meritocracy. So we have the world believe by their own merits. Okay, they go to school, they get good education, so on. They went to Harvard, they went to Yale, they went to whatever university. We have to give them that kind of belief. We have to make them believe that they have to work hard and so on. But we are the ones who printing the money. If we are the ones who printing the money, we own money. So who own money controls society. and it would all be uneven. It can't be even. So that's why you have to learn to tap into what? Your spirituality, your true identity. That's the only thing that will help you to live your life sumptuously, to be able to print your own money through your consciousness, your conscious ability. So you're gonna jam money to you. Okay, bring money to you. Because money become your servant. How are you gonna do it? By ideas. Ideas run the world. Money itself was an idea. So you have to come with the idea, okay, to bring solution, okay, and then it would come back and pay you. My reward must come to me in whatever way. That's why I continue to do videos. It doesn't have anything to do with how much views I get. It doesn't have anything to do with how viral, whether I go viral or I ain't go viral. It doesn't have anything to do whether I am shadow ban or I'm not shadow ban. It doesn't have anything to do with that. I will still continue to do what I'm supposed to do. I will still continue to teach. I will still continue to uplift people. I will continue to tell people to believe in themselves. I will continue to tell people to love themselves and to embrace themselves. I continue to tell people that their God sense is the common sense and the common sense is the God sense. I will continue to tell people stop looking in the sky for God and look within themselves. I will continue to tell people to look in the mirror to see God and look in the mirror to see the devil and understand the balance between the positive and the negative self. So my brother and my sisters, who is creating your experience? There's no devil outside of yourself. And there's no God outside of yourself. What do I mean by that? There's no God outside of consciousness. And there's no devil outside of consciousness. There's no lack and scarcity outside of consciousness. And then there's no prosperity outside of consciousness. Everything exists in consciousness. Consciousness is the all. And when you tap into the all and you experience yourself as the all, you speak as the all. So no one tell you that some man walk the earth thousands of years ago with special powers. If you believe in such a man and you believe you should worship such a man, then you should actually bow down and worship me, because I have all those experiences already. Okay? I had the virgin birth experience. Go get my book called The Secret of the Vagina, Mystery of the Virgin Birth, where I experienced the birth from the skull. I experienced my non-physical self. I experienced what neuroscience is talking about. I experienced what science is now talking about. Why? Because from my ancestry, my bloodline, okay, my ancestors, they have always known about this experience, this intelligence, and nothing can stop this experience, nothing can stop this intelligence. Okay, they hunted down many of us, they killed us, they do all of it, the church burn us to the stake, do all of these things, and we are still here. And they try to give you all different kind of names, okay, and give you different race of people who accomplish these feats, but they are lying. The consciousness is still here, the DNA is still here, and they can't stop it. It can never be stopped. The intelligence can never be stopped. Money can't stop it. Secret brotherhood can't stop it. Nothing can stop it. But it just that it is very, very rare and few people that would have the experience. But if you plant a seed in the earth and it dies and it resurrects, it's gonna bring forth much fruit. Which means, if you believe me when I tell you I have all of the experiences that anyone can ever have in this whole entire universe, and I've experienced the all, I've experienced the infinite intelligence, I've experienced the divine, I've come to the ninth power, I've become one with the wind, I've become pure consciousness. If you believe me that I gave birth to a son that called me father, and I am the father and I am the son, I realize I multiply myself. I realize that I am the Elohim, if you want to use that terminology. All of the words they want to use in Bible, use in any book. Any book you give me, I show you, is the same one science in all of them. So when I speak, I'm bringing more of my kind. So you don't have to chase enlightenment. You don't have to chase the awakening and wish you can have that experience. No. You take these words and you put these words to work in your life. That is saying that whenever you have a burning desire, that burning desire is like a wave, okay? And that wave, when you start to act on it, once you know it's like a wave, it's an energy, it's energetic, it's electrical, and you know that you start to act. Just start to act on it. Okay? And when you start to act on it, you start to create what particles. You're not seeing these particles as yet. You're not seeing them, the microscopic. You're not seeing it. Just like when you sow the seed in the earth, you're not seeing it growing. No, you know the rainfall and you know the sun shines. And you just trusting, knowing, okay, that there's a lot of the earth. Okay? And you know that there's a lot of the subconscious mind too. And you sow it and you living by universal divine law. And you know when the time comes, it's going to burst forth and it's going to bring forth and it's going to grow and it's going to expand and then it's going to bring forth its fruit. So too with you. That's why the book of Mind Science says you shall be like the tree planted by the rivers of water bringing forth water. A fruit in due season, you are a plant. Do you realize that you are a plant? And you've been planted by the river of water. The river of water. Water is what? Element. Electricity, they use water to generate it at these power stations. They use wind and use windmill to generate current. All of that is a replica of what's happening in you. All of the elements is in you. Anyone who have any full knowledge of African spirituality, they will see all of these things in symbology. It has always been symbology, so there's no man bringing nothing new to you. It's already in your DNA. There's always been all be certain bloodline on this planet. So don't try to change the system, change you. Don't blame the system, blame you. You can only go beyond this system individually, not collectively. You are here to fight this battle by yourself alone because it's yourself you're fighting against. So your enemy is yourself. Do you know the amount of people who's in churches today and who was in churches yesterday, Saturday and Sunday, blaming an enemy, accusing an enemy for what is happening in their life when you're the cause of everything that's happening in your life? But my brother, my sisters, if you can accept the fact that you're the cause and there's no God on the outside and there's no devil on the outside, that everything happens in your consciousness, in your awareness, and you accept that, and you realize that you are the creator of your experience, then you start to determine what kind of experience you want. You want the experience whereby you're working a job, whereby you're making $250 an hour. You can do that. Where you're making $300 an hour, you can do that. You want an experience whereby you're making $500 an hour, you can do that. You want to experience whereby you're making $1,000 an hour, you can do that. The idea will come to you, but you have to have that burning desire in whatever area and whatever field. Okay? One man might love the smell of a restaurant. He just loves the odor of a restaurant. And so he wants to have a successful restaurant. But another man, he might just love the odor of a store, a department store. He just loves the smell and everything. He just loves everything about a store. Another man, he might just love sports. He might just love basketball. Another man, he might just love football. Another man, he might just love cricket. But you have to know the field, what you really love and you will prosper in. And that's where you get your blessing. You don't get blessed outside of your field because you're born with a talent. You're born with a certain fingerprint. And so your telepathic powers is to walk towards that certain fingerprint. Your psychic powers is to walk towards that certain fingerprint. Your infinite intelligence been given to you to do what others can't do that you can do best. There's something that you can do that others can't do. Okay? And if you can capture that thing that you're born to do in this world and become good at it, which you would definitely become good at it because what you're born for will open up many doors for you. You see, for example, imagine a man living in the agricultural age, and they move on from the agricultural age and gone into the industrial age. And while they're in the industrial age, you still acting and behaving as if you're living in the agricultural age. That is, you're getting left behind. Many people are getting left behind because they do not expand and grow, and they do not see the era that we are living in right now. People still holding on to the old belief system. People still holding on to the belief from the grandmother and the great-great-grandmother and great-grandfather that didn't make them successful. The great-great-great-grandmother and grandfather was never successful, which means the things that they was doing was out of alignment. It means they never find their true self. It means they never find their real purpose in life. They never solve no problems. All they was walking to is to deal with their own problems and ain't realize that when they solve other people's problem, they're solving their problem. Because everyone is you. It's just a different version of you. The miserable man is just another version of you. The rich man is another version of you. The poor man is just another version of you. The dumb man is just another version of you, because all these states of mind actually exist in your consciousness and your awareness, and you have to know which one to vibrate on, which one to embrace, and which one to let go. Because there's ingoing thoughts and there are incoming thoughts. So thoughts are always coming to you and thought is going from you. So you have to connect your mind with the right mind. Just like all the computers around the world, they're connected. And they're sending information all around the world. Information spread all around the world. Whether to fight war, whether to sell bombs, whether to sell guns, whatever. They're using a communication network. They're using a communication link. Well, my brother and my sisters, just think. If Russia and China and Iran and America and all the other countries around the world, if to fight any war and to capture and to control and to do the things that they're doing, they have to use communication. It's a communication link. Then it is telling you inside of you is a divine communication link. And you have to find that divine communication link. And when you find that communication link, you cannot be governed and controlled. Because it is people's sons and daughters that have to go to war. And people's sons and daughters have to put laws in writing to send them to war. So which one you want to be? You want to be the ones who put the things in law. Okay? To send them to war. The people who print the money, the same people who write the laws for you. Therefore, you have to learn to print money by understanding that your common sense is your God sense, and that is the sense they use, and you have that same sense, and they have that same sense, and nobody more than you and nobody higher than you. Understand what I'm saying? It's just that because they believe of their bloodline, they think higher than you, so they vibrate on a higher frequency than you. So don't try to change the system, change you. I could just walk along with the system. It's your choice. There's one way or the other. There's only rich people and poor people on the planet. So you could be religious as you want. You could say Allah, you could say Brahma, you could say Jehovah, you could say Shama, you could say whatever you want to say. There's only rich people and poor people on this planet. And the rich rule it over the poor. Not me say so. The Bible itself says so. Book of Mind Science says so. He said the rich rule it over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. So what would you strive to be? The rich or the poor? I want to be the rich. Why? Because I have a head and I have a tail. Head, tail. Here is where the intelligence is. So I must accept my intelligence instead of looking for outside intelligence. So when you look for outside Lord and God and Savior, and you jumping up and down and you shouting hallelujah, and you calling on Jesus, and you believe there's some man who existed 2,000 years ago, and you call on some false God, and you worshiping the white man idol of himself that he give you to worship, how could you be empowered? You can never be empowered. You could never overcome. You'll be an idiot. And you're going to die idiot, and then you're going to raise idiots, and you're going to bring idiots in this world. That is how the cycle continue over and over and over and over and over again. That's why when they convince those that look like you that they could be rich if they join with them, and they realize how much they could just use their mind and be rich. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they will hold to these things. And these things, it will run every society, Every society has certain structure set up. And you have to go to these different systems for help. You have to go to the banks, you have to go to the credit unions, you have to go to the places of opportunities. There's some opportunities that is given to the people of the world. You have to think that there's some opportunities being given. And there are people, if they want to give you the opportunity, they can give you the opportunity. If they don't want to give you the opportunity, they will not give you the opportunity. But if you realize that you have a power inside of you, you use that power to open up doors of opportunity for you. So my brother, my sisters, accept the fact that you are the creator of your experience. Accept it. You have to accept it. Okay? So when you vibrate to a certain level, you vibrate on the level of the rich. When you start to vibrate on the level of the rich, okay, then you go become the friend of the rich. That's why the very Bible, which is a book of mind science, he said, don't speak about the rich, you know. If you want to be rich, don't speak about the rich. He said, if you speak against the rich, a little boy go carry news to them. You have to understand the parable. It's a parable. You born in this world rich. Do you know you're born in this world rich? Do you know you're born with a gold mine? Do you know that you're born in this world with a spark inside of you? Do you know you're born in this world with a treasure inside of you? Do you know that you have a pearl of great price inside of you? Do you know when that spark explodes inside of you, it is the rising of the sun? And when the sun rises, it penetrates everything that it comes across and it empowers it. It puts life into it and it brings forth. Your life is not bringing forth. The sun is not coming your path. You're in darkness. So I'm saying to you, get rid of the darkness and get into the light. I could tell you, man, and I could testify to you. Believing in Jesus was my darkness. Believing in a God on the outside was my darkness. Trusting secular Christianity has been my darkness. But now I see the light. When I realize that self-realization is the way of salvation, I found myself and I realized how powerful self-knowledge is. The more self-knowledge you have is the more powerful you're going to become. The more self-knowledge you have is the more influential you're going to become. The more self-knowledge you have is the more you can penetrate this society. The more self-knowledge you have is the more you will discover that you have ability that was there lying dormant inside of you. Because your eyes will be open. That's why the book of Matthew says, if your eye be open, okay? If that eye in you be open, your whole body be full of light. If that single eye, the eye of consciousness, the eye of awareness, if it opens within you, you become conscious, you become aware. And all these things will be given unto you. All these things will be given unto you. All these things will be given unto you. If you ask for a fish, you wouldn't be given a serpent. If you ask for bread, you wouldn't be given a stone. Do you understand what these things mean? It doesn't mean to you go on your knees and beg and beseech to some entity on the outside. That is you begging the oppressor and colonizers. The oppressors and colonizers have you begging them all the time. Going on your knees and praying and begging them all the time. How have they done that? By giving you their image to worship. So you don't see your image in the mirror. You don't trust the image that you see in the mirror. You don't love and appreciate the image that you see in the mirror. That you walking around telling people, oh, Jesus love you. Such an idiot. When you're supposed to love yourself. You're looking for love when you're supposed to be giving love. So all the people who are looking for love from Jesus, okay, they'll never find love. The loveless never find any love. Because you have to give love to get love. That's how love is. The love can't operate no other way. You have to find love in yourself and give love. And then love gonna come back to you. It's like a magic penny. You give it away and then it's gonna come right back to you. That's love. That's love. How could you love anyone when you haven't loved yourself? When you don't know yourself? Most people do not know who they are. So my brother, my sisters, you are the creator of your experience. You are the creator of everything that's happening in your life. You may experience a friend who you thought was a friend, but wasn't a friend, was a friend enemy. Put it that way there. Okay, they bad talk you, they say all kind of evil behind your back, they stab you behind your back. Okay, is it because you're on a low vibration and you vibrate on that same level with that person? You chat that person because you were involved in same things before and you never change. And it is a lesson to tell you that you must change. Why do you think that people that goes to church and look for love on the outside, that they always hate? They always label. Because why? They themselves they take on a label. And whenever you take on a label, you have to label others. That's why once you religious and you're superstitious, you always be labeling others and you will always carry a label. When we didn't born in this world with any label, we born in this world as a free agent with a free mind to choose. And you choose an idol instead of you choose the power that is in you, the creative and innovative power that is in you that you can use to have your every desire. Oh, all you need to do is accept accountability. You are accountable for everything that happened in your life. You are responsible. No devil is responsible. No demon is responsible. You are responsible because demon operate on a low level of vibration. They're non-physical entities, disembodied spirits. Okay, the roam, okay, the fourth dimension. How do I know that? Because I see them. I even capture one on this phone right here. Okay, in a video. One was captured in a video. Okay. So they're there, but they are non-physical. And how could they come into your space? Through your thoughts, through your vibrational frequency. Because their energy, and as I say, energy could be transmuted. But the only thing is that they do not have this body, they're not having this human experience. Because to have this human experience, you have to die to come here. And when you die, you have to face amnesia. That state of forgetfulness. That's why you come in this world being a little child. You can't walk, you can't talk, you come being dumb and crippled. And then you're waking up to remembrance. So when they say the child is developing and the child is learning motor skills and so on, it's all remembrance. It's a state of memory. You're coming back to memory until you come back to know that you're the source when you experience yourself as the source. I experience myself as the source, bro. I'm not bragging. I'm not boasting. You understand what I'm saying? I experience myself as the source. And when you become as the source, you become like the wind. I experience myself as the earthquake. I experience myself. As a matter of fact, you think about all the natural disasters, what they call disasters, and you experience yourself like that. The hurricane, the tornado, you hear that song. The volcanic eruption, you hear that loud explosion, you experience all of that. You understand? The lightning and everything that come from volcano, you experience all of that. You experience the lightning, everything. Currency, electricity. It's you, bro. It's you. Everything is you. I connected. My backbone is it. Rain was coming out. I don't take off my shoes. Get some grounding today. While they're out in nature. Your backbone is that place, bro. That's why I tell people. You understand what I'm saying? I have nothing against, when I speak, I have nothing against secret society. Because I honestly believe 100% I am a 33rd degree man. I never joined none of those things, but I am a 33rd degree man. Once you run up the spine, man, once you had the experience of the spine, yeah, some people talk about some feeling them they had to run up the spine, about kundalini and all of that shit. They're nothing like that, bro. Me know my experience, man. Once you become that temple that split in two, and see the holy of holies, the holies of holies, you come up to the holy of holies, the holy of holies, eh? The place that only high priest could go, and you realize that you're high priest by certain order, and Melchizedek order. You remember, you realize you have no mother, no father, no beginning of days, no ending of days, and all of that. You experience all of that. Ooh, you just love humanity, and you want to encourage everybody to believe in themselves. Because you know you're a true prophet, and you're prophesying as you speak. Because I know once these messages get on the right ears, these people be smiling. You're smiling all the way to the bank. You'll be smiling to the grocery. You'll be smiling driving in luxury. You'll be smiling living in luxury. You'll be smiling know that you can create your reality consciously and deliberately. You remember when you set it in motion because you take a pen and a paper and you write it down. You realize how much your fingers are magical. You realize writing is magical and mystical in the right books to entrap you? So that must be spells. Why think people that use hexes and all of these things? Why is all the hand that is used? Why when you go to the bank, they make you sign? Why when a man become president, they have to sign? Everything have to do with some sort of signing. How can someone sign in? It's a magical language. Writing is a magical language. Writing is a magical language. So when you hear me tell you, go and get my books, you think it's because the sale I want? No, because I know writing is magical and mystical. I put the magical and mystical powers in books for you. That's why they say, there's a saying that if you hide something from black powers, put in a book, they don't read. They only read for go to school for get a job. I can't tell them nothing, it vex with you. It vex with you. Most people in my country wouldn't have their sons and daughters even playing any kind of sport in terms of believing they'll get money from sport. No. Good grades. People in my country will always tell the children, education, go school education. Get a work by the bank. That's a big work. By the bank. You could get money for borrow from the bank when you work at the bank. Go look for work by the credit union. And why you get plenty subjects? So you can work with the credit union, and when you work with the credit union, you could get any amount of money to borrow from the credit union. That's their conversation. And so I sit down, I see all the people in my country who are real money, rich. And so I see a pattern with them, right? And I ask myself, so wait, and I will always have this kind of conversation with my girl, okay? I say, just imagine such and such and such, and I'll call the name of the very rich person who have, they have big businesses in the country and so on, whether it's a supermarket, whether it's whatever you could think about, you know what I mean? They're running big insurance company, whatever. What kind of conversation those people have with their children? You think they're telling their children go to school and make sure you get education so you could get a good job? They're not having that kind of conversation. They're having a different kind of conversation. So you have to think about what the rich just be telling their children, okay? And then you start to have. So if you have the mindset of the rich, then you have conversation with your children like the rich do. Okay, it's different conversation. I don't ever call my child dunce. I always tell my child that she's intelligent. When my child do something that might be wrong, I explain to her, and I say, you're more intelligent than that. So you shouldn't be doing that because you're more intelligent than that. I speak to my children a certain way. And to be honest with you, most of the schools, the way how they speak to the children, they're raising criminals. Something they tell the children that they wouldn't come out any good, they won't be this, they won't be that. But when you could teach your children, but the teacher in school, he's not a multimillionaire. Your teacher in school is not a multimillionaire. So how easy he gonna set you up for success and all of them things? That's why you going to preach in your head. When you start to teach your child all these things from small, when you start to teach your child what it means to be a millionaire, what it needs to be a multimillionaire and so on, you start to teach your children these things from a young age. When they grow up, you can't depart from them. So when you really train up a child, for calling Jesus and for believing some God on the outside and church and make a fool out of yourself, what do you think you can be? And have you ever sat and wonder why so much Christian couples are bringing some guests on? Well, in my country, I know that plenty Christian couple. Plenty Christian couple. Man, the husband never go dance, they never go party, they never run woman, they never do that. The first woman they had sex with, they married. And when I watch these Christian couple, they all bring some effeminate boy. A lot of Christian couple in my country bring a bunch of effeminate boys. I'm not calling them gay, but they're effeminate. Yeah, so I could go to so much Christian couples that couple they watch, but that's Sunday. They have more than one Sunday, but they always have a effeminate one, a very, very effeminate one. I'm fucking wondering why. I know why now. I can see why. Because these people would never take responsibility for their own thoughts. They will never take responsibility for their own mind. They'll never see their thoughts do become things because they're not capturing their thoughts. How do you capture it? You write it down. How else do you capture it? You meditate on it. You visualize. You understand what I'm saying? That is you walking alchemy. That is you walking transmutation of energy. You have the sensation. You see, once you have the sensation, do you realize, right? Let me break it down simple for you. Do you know when you start to have this sensation, at this horny, sexy feeling? You understand? The sperm start to get active, And then with the woman, the egg and everything they say, everything bubbling up, everything smiling, everything that right mood, man. Yeah, man. As a man, think about when you know you have some sex, you feel so good. Hmm? Everything acting up, man. Yeah. Especially you enjoying it with your partner and so on. It's the same thing, brother. Masculine and feminine coming together, and the church convince you and make you believe that you are sex. If you are sex in sin, which they never let you know that sin is ignorance, and they convince you that you're gonna pay some money, go pay some money to the government establishment first, and you sign some paper, and we control that. The government control that, and make you sign a contract with the government, and you think, oh, I'm righteous now, boy. Mm. Nobody can point their finger at me. I live in for peace society. Society, no, I'm married. And I'm having sex. And you could imagine a man, he throwing some dick on his wife that night because he believed in a pastor. And we pastor say, man flinging dick left, right, and center. Man clapping cheeks left, right, and center. And he shouted hallelujah when he come in. You think he bringing an idiot, another religious idiot. And he believe he had righteous sex, righteous sex. And then he gonna quote the Bible. And he gonna quote it and understand it. He gonna quote that the bed is honorable, marriage is honorable, and the bed is undefiled. And he didn't realize a union of energy, vibration, and frequency talking about in the bed, because he didn't understand sex is sacred energy exchange. And they tell you the bed where marriages take place is undefiled. Once he told you is in the same mind space, and you wrap the energy together, This is sex magic because they afraid the word magic and they embrace the word miracle because they don't understand the miracle their own mind. They understand the miracle their own mind. They understand the miracle their own birth. Do you know the egg doesn't even have no opening for the sperm, but the sperm does get in there, it imagines itself there to have this human experience. So my brother, my sisters, use your imagination wisely and creatively to create your reality consciously, because everything in this world was first imagined. It was first a thought. It was first an idea. Okay, do you know that the Bible had to first be imagined? It had to first be a thought. It had to first be an idea. That's why nobody could tell you anything that was done in the Bible that isn't mental, that isn't psychological. That wasn't first a thought or first an idea, first imagined. If you start from Genesis 1 to Revelation 22, it's all ideas from the mind. It's all mental, all psychological. That's why it's a book of mind science. And if you don't believe it's a book of mind science, and you believe you have some outside savior and some outside lad and some outside mass and somebody will save you, you live and die an idiot. Even if you attract money into your space, you understand, it can go from you within 2 to 3 generations. All can go from you. The preachers in the church. Why do you think the church always have all the best lands? In my country, the church are the best lands. And certain families, because of what they know. So my brother, my sisters, self-knowledge is power. There's no greater knowledge in this world than self-knowledge. So everything that I'm teaching here, everything that I'm telling you is to tell you the power of self-knowledge. Know who you are. Know the power that you possess. And once you know who you are and you know the power that you possess, then you start to control your mind. You control your life. You control where you go. You control the things you do, the relationship you have. You're not going to be, when you're a low class man, you end up with a low class woman most of the time. If you're a low value man, of course you attract a low value woman. Why you think sometimes a man, and I'm speaking from experience too, okay? Sometimes you think I might end up with a woman with 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 freaking children already. Because he can't do better in life and that we can attract. But once you see, if you was to take 100 men and ask them if they will rather a woman, let's say they have no children, okay, and they're high value men. They're working for such a certain amount per month or whatever, or they have certain thing and they have certain mindset. They will tell you they want to start with somebody new. Somebody who never been beat around and have much baggages and so on. Why? Because we've been built that way, brother. That's how we've been built, to expand and to grow and to have value, especially as men. And you could call woman gold digger and say as you like, but I would encourage my daughter to take no broken ass fucking man, or no lazy man, or no man who not ambitious, no man who not emotionally intelligent and all of them kind of thing, and no woman who not emotionally intelligent and so on. I'm not gonna do that. And it most likely I would rather tell my daughter, find someone who grew up in a 2-parent household too. It's always better that way too. more than just this single parent thing and all of that too. But I'm not saying good can't come out of those things. But everybody want the best. And I'm saying to you, there are people who will say they want the best for you, but they don't want you to be better than them. They don't want you to be better than them or to do better than them in life. But I'm saying to you, my brother, my sisters, if you only take responsibility for your life, if you only take accountability and accept the fact that you're the creator of all the experiences, your life will change tremendously. That was one of the first things I had to accept in my life. And my money changed. Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah, yeah. I'm doing a live. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Once you take responsibility for everything that happens in your life, okay, everything start to change. Because you see, if you take responsibility for everything that's happening in your life, you take responsibility for your finances. And when you start to take responsibility for your finances, you realize, hey, I could change my finances. I started to work on changing your finances. I remember when I used to visualize my bank account and the figures I want there. And it just keep getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to the figure. Figure just keep changing, 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 changing. And I just keep smiling, 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 smiling. You too. You ever see when people have more than enough in their life, they are always cool and calm. They're not easily vexed. They're not easily angry. Bro, when you start to practice meditation daily, when you start to understand how your mind works, when you start to take accountability and responsibility for your life, man, you start to move so calm, cool, and collective. You have nothing to worry about. You don't go in the supermarket and complaining about the prices. You know, why I'm a little like go supermarket. I always, if Jeff Bezos come inside, he ain't gonna complain about the price. I always say, if Bill Gates come inside, he not gonna complain for the price, about the price. Okay, so I say that is like a package change for them. So he said, I supposed to see myself that way too. Okay, because they have the same mind. They go in the same toilet to take a shit just like me. They have to brush their teeth just the same like me. They have to do everything just the same like me. It's just that they have information that most people might not have access to. They might have certain privileges open up to them. They might have open up to others. And those who set up those privileges and so on and all of that, they know what they were doing. It's like if I thinking higher than you, I am like 2 steps ahead of you. If I thinking higher than you, I might be 100 years ahead of you or 200 years ahead of you. It's just the fact. If you still living in the agricultural age and I living in the digital age, I so far away from you. It's just like that. So my brother, my sisters, the first step is taking responsibility, man, for your life. Okay, and be willing to unlearn and relearn and reprogram your subconscious mind. Don't be afraid to say your mother was wrong. Your grandfather was wrong. Your great great grandfather, they all was wrong. They believe a lie, but you're not gonna believe the lie, and you're gonna live life on your own terms. Okay, thoughts become things, and we become what we think about most of the time. I remember the first time I listened to "The Strangest Secret in the World" by All Nightingale. You must check that out. That's why I tell you, these people are speaking codes. All Nightingale can tell you everything he's talking about was coming from the Bible. Only one part in that he catch when he say the carpenter Galilee. And when he say carpenter Galilee, he's still pointing you to white Jesus. If you don't think wisely, you not see the power. It's the power you talk about. The carpenter, I talk about a power to build and to mold and to shape. The power of your imagination. He say tell you the secret over and over and over again and time again. But few understand it. But if you understand how your ancestors were persecuted and beaten and something was forced down their throat to believe, you would listen to these people, they would inspire you. You understand? But you would never be able to figure out the thing properly by figuring it out properly. Okay? That's why you have to understand the power of language. They speak their language, you speak our language. Okay? So understand also African spirituality and tie in the teaching secular Christianity and then watch them closely and understand the Bible metaphysically and esoterically, understand it psychologically, and understand what the Gnostic had known before, and you start to see. And then the day will come when this spark will erupt in you, and that changes everything. And that's what they don't want you to ever experience. The spark erupting inside of you. Oh my God. You think I'm gonna wait for anybody to put up a picture of me to say I found enlightenment? Like how they have Sadhguru and Moji and all the other people. When I put a black man, they rope out spirit all of these people. If it takes that, they'll put Eckhart Tolle all of them, they'll put Wayne all of them. They'll put the black man like me. Man, beat me chest, man. Boastfully. I beat me chest boastfully. Something they have to be afraid of. Why they never want to have a black man up there as an enlightened, self-aware man, self-realized man. And tell all these people, man, when they found the enlightenment. And he come on with the win, boy. Became one with the win. So, okay, someone said hi to you. Someone said grand rising to our grand rising to each and everyone in the chat. What about prisoners? Can they manifest leaving? Yes, I don't think so. Yes, they could. Let me give you a little story. There's a man many years ago named Reverend Ike who knew about this, right? But he was already trapped in secular Christianity, so he just tried to switch it. So he still was running the church, but he used to teach them to meditate and so on, and to interpret the Bible and so on to them. Okay? But he was so much ahead of time. The people still wasn't getting it as much. But one man was in prison, a man named P.D. Green. P.D. Green, he used to be an activist in America. I must check him out. Do some research on P.D. Green. Okay, a man named P.D. Green. And P.D. Green was in prison. And P.D. Green wanted was to get out of prison. And P.D. Green started to use imagination in prison. And to cut a long story short, a prisoner went up on a building, wanted to commit suicide. And everybody go up there trying to talk to him. All the prison officers, everybody tried to talk to the man. Man was going to jump off. And none of them could contain the man. And P.D. Green went up there, and I think within 9 to 90 minutes, P.D. Green convinced the man and get him down. And that was one thing that helped P.D. Green to get out, right? And P.D. Green confessed when he came to a meeting with Reverend I did invite him to just come and speak and so on and try to encourage the people and then leave again, okay? Because he had a lot of things going on for him. P.D. Green said, what he did in 9 minutes, they don't know it took him about 3 months was to put him up there. P.D. Green is who put him up there. P.D. Green act out everything, and he played the part to get himself out of there. And P.D. Green was out of prison. Okay, so it could be used. I remember many years ago, people there was someone reached out to me and tell me they were sending some of my books to some relative they had in prison that I could read. Okay, yes, they could get you out of prison. Okay, everything is a mental construct, even the prison, because your mind has put you in prison too. Okay, so you could get out. Someone say no hate, answer my question. Of course, I don't answer a question. Respectfully make a video if you are not reading the questions. Okay. Yeah, so there's so much people. Even Neville got to talk about when he was in the army, and he imagined himself, and he come out of the army. Okay. Someone say you're human. I'm not human. I'm having a human experience, but I'm not human. Human come from humus, the dirt. This is not me. Dirt don't speak. Okay, this is a house made from dirt. Okay, that which is inside of me is divine. That's what I experienced. When he erupt, when the spark erupt, then you realize you just live in a house. Your body is just a house, the avatar. Brother, you are not answering my question. Which question? I'm not answering your question. Which question I'm not answering? Tell me which question I am answering. Maybe we're saying going over your head, but tell me which question I'm not answering. There's no question you're going to ask me that I can answer. Just ask the question. Which kind of question? Just tell me which question I'm not answering. Nimrod says to the person, he first speaks, then deals with questions and comments. Oh, you are not being avoided. Let the patient, please. Okay, yeah, this because this person have to be somebody new to my channel. Someone say, okay, thanks for letting me know. Okay, yeah, I was waiting last go on the comments and so on because I was want to make sure give leave enough information for people. Okay, because my whole thing is about teaching. Okay. Is he done speaking? Well, I finished speaking on the topic I was speaking. I'm just reading the comments now. Okay. Someone says they define rich. For me, being rich, you're actually born rich. Is you just rediscovering all of your mental faculties and learning how to use your mental faculties to benefit you in every aspect of life. That's being rich. Okay. Having money doesn't mean you're being rich. Okay. People get money could come out from all different ways and different means and so on. But when you rediscover, okay, your mental faculties that you're born with, and you rediscover yourself, your energetic self, your magnetic self, you understand how the mind works, you understand the neurons in your body, the protons, you understand all of those things. I understand yourself scientifically, okay, metaphysically. You understand it yourself esoterically. You understand science and theology and understanding your whole physiology and biology, your whole mechanism, okay, all of that, okay, your oneness. That's true riches, okay. It's not just about money, okay. As a result of you finding your true riches, then money become your servant. It follow you, okay. You have to become rich first on the inside, okay. So if you fix your mind, which I was saying, suppose if you've been listening to me talk about, if you fix your mind, you fix your life, then it mean when you fix your mind, there's where the riches is, your mind. Okay, everything is inside of you. Somebody say it will be what it will be. Money is the root to joy and happiness, gratitude. Some people think that money is not the key, but money is the key. Okay, there's only rich and poor people in this world, and money is the medium of exchange. And the people who speak against money is the people who speak against themselves. The people who would say they don't love money is the people who don't love themselves. The people who do not appreciate money is the people who do not appreciate themselves, because they do not appreciate the energy that they are. Because money is energy. Money is currency. You're carrying a currency. Okay? So that's what money is. That's why those people who now speak against money, they work the hardest for money. Okay? And that's really just people. Somebody say, what power? Mind power. Mind power is infinite power, and God power. That's God power. God power is mind power. You see, the power, the mind of God is the mouth of man, and the mouth of man is the mind of God. Okay? God can't speak without you. Because as a matter of fact, as I speak it here right now to you, who you think speaking? It is God that is speaking. When you speak to yourself, who you think speaking? It's God that's speaking. That's why if you follow your intuition, you can't go wrong. That you following God. Not some man in the sky. Do we create suffering? Yes, you create suffering too. Okay? If you think in lack and scarcity, if you think there's an enemy on the outside, if you blame everyone about yourself, you're creating the suffering in your life. If you always say water more than flour, you're creating that. If you always referring to yourself as poor people, I hate when a man say poor people like me and you. I don't have to say anything. I don't respond to people like that. I never see myself poor, and I will never call myself poor. If you have a business and you can't sell your business, a small business, that's how your business is going to remain. And you to speak suffering in your life. You're the cause of everything. Even when somebody betray you to, you cause it. Because you vibrate to their level to call them your friend and bring them in your space. You're cause of everything happening in your life. Some people can't accept that because they don't accept that they are the devil. You're both God and the devil. You're both positive and negative. Someone say a whole symphony inside us. Love this reminder, thanks. Yeah, and it is actually a reminder. Okay? A whole symphony, a whole language, a whole pathway, a whole network, an infinite network inside of you. Okay? Someone say, yes, but how does this apply to everyone? How does what apply to everyone? I don't understand this one. How does this apply to everyone? Everyone have a mind, Okay, if I think I understand what you're saying. So this applies to everyone because everything have a mind and everything is mental. Everything is psychological. Everything starts in the mind. There's nothing you could say or do that didn't start in the mind. Okay? And as I said, when you have a thought, that thought is like a wave. And when you act upon that thought, it becomes a particle before it be manifested in this physical three-dimensional world. Okay? So this message of mind science, it applies to everyone. So once you're religious, it destroy the power of your mind. It destroy your thinking. Okay? That's why your belief system is what is keeping you poor. Okay? Again, patience, which is a virtue, should be exercised. Yeah. Your prayer will be addressed in due time. And when it happens, challenge him. If you disagree, open minds are welcome here. Yeah. I've always asked anybody to challenge me, any part of the world, if they disagree on what I'm saying. Okay, hey, have you all ever taken a rain bath or drink rainwater? I've drunk rainwater for years. Okay, for years, because I would not drink the water in the tap water because it has fluoride. I mean fluoride in it. Okay, and fluoride definitely does definitely calcify your pineal. For example, right before I come to my great awakening and enlightenment, I went through the dark night of the soul, my Gethsemane experience, right? But I didn't know at the time, and I went to a low place in my life where I didn't even have electricity. My light was cut, my water was cut. I remember I used to go by a neighbor and get water, and then the landlord for that area was threatening the people because he was giving me water. Okay, and then afterwards, I decided I go in the mountain where I used to know there used to be a spring, and I used to go up in the mountain. But that part of the mountain, they turned it into a housing area, so houses was around there now. Okay, and I would go there and I hide myself and bathe at the spring, drink water from the spring, and then I would go sleep and I would light a candle and then I would out the candle and sleep in darkness, and that helped me to become enlightened. You have to embrace darkness. If you want, and I could show you in African spirituality how the ancestors hid that. I could show you what is happening in my country with Shakerism, with the darkness. And all of that is to activate the pineal gland. The darkness, all of that is help to regulate melatonin. You understand? But years ago, by reading, I know serotonin was able to sleep, but I didn't know that much about melatonin. And all of that was happening when I was going to sleep in the dark. And I was drinking that pure water, so I know the water messed up. The water is polluted. They poison the water to calcify your pineal gland. That's a fact. I knew that as a fact. But it happened by accident with me. Let me put it that way, by accident. I didn't know. I drink pure water, everything started to change, even my body, my physique, everything, my muscle, everything. When I started to drink that kind of water, spring water, that's why for years I've only been drinking pure spring water. Never drink tap water again. I rather drink just plain rainwater if I can't get spring water, but I have access to spring water. Normally drive good there to catch spring water. And we have a natural spring in our country that called it spa water. That just run. It can taste the mineral in it. When the moon, like right now is new moon, as the moon get fuller, the waters get more powerful, more stronger. If you put in a body, open the body, like, yeah, you want a mineral in it. It's kind of water. Okay. Someone says, so I know the water poison. All around the world, man, they poison the water with fluoride. Hey, have you all ever okay, yeah. Somebody say, yes, it's tasty, LOL. And someone said hi. I hear you, but we don't create our experience. We have to take action, and that creation is uncertain. Unfortunately, we have limits. We are human. Again, we're not human. We're just having a human experience. I keep telling this person, okay, the way how they conversate from the standpoint of a limited belief person who think what was taught to them is the real thing. Okay, you're not a human. You're having a human experience. Okay, that's the first thing you need to correct. Okay, and if you've been listening and if you're a good listener, I always say that when you have a burning desire, strong thought, it's like a wave, and when you act upon it, it become a particle. But you're not listening. Okay, before it could become a manifestation. So I'm basically running you through the process of thought, action, and manifestation. And you're not listening. You read your own Bible, okay? Because when you say me a human, most of the time religious people speak that way. Because they think that they're human and they're trying to be spiritual. But it's the other way around. We're spirit and we're just having a human experience. We are already spiritual. Everything is already spiritual. Okay? If you read the Bible, you see it's showing you that all the time. And the people, religious people keep missing it. Okay? The secret of creation, how to create. Okay? That was in the beginning. God. Which is saying everything starts from the invisible. Whenever it is God is talking about the invisible, everything begins from the invisible. Somebody say life is unpredictable and it's not always happy and bliss. No, that's why it states in the book of Mind Science, let the poor say I am rich. Okay, that is trying to tell you that there are people who have experiences whereby they wouldn't be happy and they wouldn't be blissful. But how could you appreciate happiness if you don't know what what it means to be unhappy? How would you appreciate riches if you do not know what it's like to be poor? How could you appreciate peace if you do not know war in your mind? If you never suffer, how are you gonna appreciate the things that comes after the suffering? If you never experience the darkness, how would you experience the light at the end of the tunnel? Okay? So all things must be working together for your good. So the unhappiness and all of these things have to come to get you to think. These things is to get you to think. But some people don't think, they're lazy. All my life growing up, they call me lazy. Because they think life was about hard work. And something else tell me life was never about hard work. So instead of me trying to work hard, I try to think more. And I come out the winner. And those who used to call me lazy, they end up the loser. They still up to this day, they still busting their ass, walking, and have nothing to show for it. That's why I'm writing a book called The Lazy Man Principle to Wealth and Riches. So, official man, I hope these things are helping you. Okay, even the rich have to be logical. No, the rich doesn't really have to be logical, right? The rich have to trust laws. Let me help you out here. Laws. You don't have to be logical to know that mango always bring forth mango. You do not have to be logical to know coconut always bring forth coconut. Every seed and every species must have all reproduce after its own kind. So it's a law. So the rich understand law, divine infinite laws, and they walk along with divine infinite laws. There's something that states that if it ain't broken, don't try to fix it. And that's the problem with most people. They want to fix something that is not broken. That's why some people want to get rich instead of discover the riches that is within themselves. That's the biggest problem. People who think they're going to get rich on the outside, you have to find it inside. Simple as that. And that logic. There's so much of people who are logical, yet they're poor, broke, miserable, and everything. There's so much of people who are so educated, have all kind of degree, all kind of thing. You understand? And they don't even know how to survive. So it's not just about logics. No facts, right? What? Okay, facts. Somebody say I'm confused. What does sex have to do with creating your own experience? Okay, Mr. Official Man, I realize there's a lot of teaching you need. You need a one-on-one with me, man. You need to schedule a one-on-one with me. You need some mentorship. There's a lot you need to learn. A lot you need to learn. Don't you know that your inhalation and exhalation is sex? You're giving and receiving. Do you know sex is giving and receiving? It's sacred energy exchange. You're exchanging energy all the time. You see, you only know sex on a physical level. You need to understand sex on a psychological and spiritual level. That's why you don't see sex in the Bible. And it's all over the Bible. Okay. Okay, not everything. What about weather? Gosh, man. Sometimes some people have so much question when sometimes all they need to do, instead of looking for so much answers, and realize that they themselves is the answer. Weather isn't an idea or thought. What do you mean weather isn't an idea or thought? You could manipulate the weather. What are you talking? The weather, what about the weather that is not a part of the elements? Huh? Do you realize, for example, if you have a hurricane is wind and it's water. Okay, you take a refrigerator, it's the same thing too. And you're gonna turn the water into ice. But the same thing going on, the same elements working, wind, water, fire, everything's still in place right there. It's just that you doesn't have the insight to see it. No, he says that the weather just happens. Come on, no, it doesn't just happen like that. It happens in your consciousness, your awareness. If you're asleep, you don't know the weather. If you're dead, you don't know the weather. It's happening in your consciousness. He keeps saying we are human. I'm not gonna argue. I might need to separate some of his comment. He says so because they are not spiritual, they have no value. Everything in this world is spiritual. So if you ain't spiritual, what do you think happen? You're living your life as a living dead on the planet. It's as simple as that. Money is spiritual. You just work for money. The clothes that you wear is spiritual. Do you know somebody have to design it in their mind for us? Everything. Even everything that you're saying to me is that to fall your thought in your mind. Jeez, you tiring me out, man. So you think someone is broke, lazy, and unambitious if you are not spiritual? Yes. I honestly believe that. And let me explain it for you. Okay. You see, being broke and unambitious is now what you think I mean. You think I mean that a man who ain't looking for a job and so on is not ambitious. And a man who doesn't go look for work and so on is lazy. And a man who don't have money is broke. No. It's more than that, and it's deeper than that. If you've been listening, you'll hear how much I stress the word accountability. You will hear how much I stress the word take responsibility for your thoughts and your action. Once you can't take responsibility for your thoughts and your action, you're still broke. Some people could be so broke that all they have is money. Do you realize a man could be so broke, all he have is money? And then I explain lazy. People who don't think they're lazy. You understand what I'm saying? And ambition is you seeking to know your purpose and that you're going to get a job. A lot of people normally use the word ambition and people ambitious thinking somebody who going to get a job, a 9 to 5. No, it's more than that. Seeking to know more who you are. That's why it's all about it, ambition. Somebody say, 16 views, man, I don't know. Everyone feels angry. You have to be. Everyone feels angry. You have to be. There was a time when I was angry, and that was because I was ignorant of myself. But when I became self-aware and I know who I am and I understand the power of my mind and I realized I could create my life whichever way I wanted to be, I was no longer angry. Okay, right now I'm the happiest man. Okay, try read on these and then close. Nimrod says, hey, greeting BlackMadGuru, religion has always been used to control every aspect of our lives, which is true. Using guilt and a corrupted concept of a God, only a free mind understand the game. Yes. And it's definitely a game. Okay. And only a free mind can understand the game. And you're actually born in this world with a free mind and a free will. Okay, but you've been captured. Okay, by the game. That's why you have to learn to play the game. And when you really learn the game, you understand why certain favors would be given to certain people. They choose to play the game with those who set up the game. Okay? And you could win outside of that, but it's not so easy, and it's very few could do it. Okay, so you have to understand something. That's why if you been listening to me, hear me talk about, you know, both secret society and churches. Okay, and churches will go against secret society, and secret society will do the same. You understand? But when you understand, okay, I used to always ask myself as a boy growing up, why, if you check banks, you check credit unions, you check all of the means of where the power is, lies in society. And these are the people who run the boats and so on and all of that. So when people go to church and jump up and down, make a bunch of noise, I don't bother with them. You understand? They are always the employee, and the other people are the employer. So I always mark that. I always put that back on my head. You understand? The institutions that Christians go to borrow money, most of the time the people in those institutions at the top, people in secret society, so they control the wealth. Secret societies control most of the wealth of this world. So they are always controlling those people. But people who control their reality and control their reality can understand the game. They know how to play the game, and they would benefit and live lavishly based on their town, because there's different level of riches too. And there's different levels of prosperity too. A man might need 10 million to live lavishly, while another man might just need 1 million. And another man might could live life, you know what I mean, making 100,000 plus a year. You understand? But it's just you understanding the game. That's why important. Okay, someone's official man, Richard, say Nimrod, spiritual people always smear religion to justify the recklessness of manifesting. We need action. You can't just sit and think in your reality. Are you crazy? No, what happened, right? Where official man is missing out, right? Is that there are people who call themselves spiritual that are actually religious. Let me explain that for you. There are people who call themselves spiritual because they get a bunch of knowledge and all they do is yap, 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 and talk. You understand? I've seen people come on dating show and say they're spiritual and act in some stupid, foolish ways. You understand? They laugh and they're religious. So just like how you have, like for example, right? A religious person, they want to save their whole family. Okay, so when they're going to join whatever religion, they preach to everybody and they want the whole family to follow them. And they just want to use the same concept with spirituality too. Okay, but spirituality is a secret thing. And when I say a secret thing, it's done by experience. It's only by experience alone. The experience will always remain secret. That's why if you understand me, realize I don't really have nothing against secret society. It's just that I understand the game. You understand what I'm saying? I understand the game. But very few people could understand the game outside of being a part of their stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So, not everybody who says they're spiritual is actually spiritual. You understand? Because it's something that you display, not something you talk. Okay? That's why I keep telling people take action. So basically, when I say your reality create your experience, I tell you have to learn to put things in writing. If you didn't write down nothing, you would know that you manifest it. I remember I manifest something and it took me a year for me to realize I manifested. Sometimes you go back in a book and you find where you write it down and you remember it. Most of the things that I manifest, I just forget it because I don't sit down waiting for the thing to manifest. And when I do it playfully. I don't take myself too serious. I don't be under a bunch of expectation because I know you're just working with Allah. And the law works. When a farmer go out and he so see the farmer, they patiently waiting and waiting and waiting for the thing to manifest. No, you know. So you don't worry about it, go and do all the rest thing you have to do and don't worry yourself about nothing. Okay. Nobody never say you must go and sit. You don't understand. Nah, this man commenting so much. But thanks for the comment though. No, I think here we go. I could see official post. This official post is a very argumentative post. It's a person who loves to yap. I don't know if he was in Christianity or he's in Christian, but he loves to yap. Actions speak louder than words. If you understand with spirituality and true spirituality, we don't do nothing by talking. We act. We see. We prove by our life. Okay. That's why, for example, right? if if like when you really understand how this thing work, right? I could do something on somebody's behalf and the person don't have to do nothing. I don't have to tell anybody. That's why this thing is a win-win situation. So like for example, right? That's why you see some people on the internet, something they charge people a bunch of money because they know it's gonna work. Because sometimes they work on their behalf and they never tell them anything work. And they say, oh, this person, I don't mind pay this amount of thousands of dollars and pay this amount of thousands of dollars. You understand? Because it always works. And I could go in the Bible and show you where the Bible tell you it always works and it never fail. It do ever fail. And the only person who normally stop anything is you. You use the devil. So when people say, oh, the devil and the enemy is just speaking about themselves. Only you could block you, only you could stop you. The only person stopping you from becoming a millionaire is you. It's a fact. It's simple, but it's true. Okay. And brother Nimrod, it makes no sense go back with this official guy, this official person. Just go be wasting your energy. You have to leave people like that because you're just gonna be talking. Action. This thing is an action thing. Everything I be speaking is an action thing. That's why today I teach anyway. I'm teaching. Sometimes I will come out and I will blast certain things, and then sometimes I come and I teach. Right now it's teaching time. I want people manifest too. I want to see every aspect of me, every side of me. So speaking truth is not smearing religion. You can't convince people with that. That's how the man see it. I'm smearing religion. That's how the man see it. Leave him alone, Nimrod. Chooses to control you. Religion chooses to control you. He doesn't see it that way. You can't convince him. Why spirituality teaches freedom from false religion doctrine. Okay? And spirituality open up a way for you to become free. I wouldn't even say it teaches freedom because freedom is not something you teach. Okay, it's a path we have to open and you have to accept it and go into the pathway. Okay, because this thing is a lifestyle. It's not a belief in an unbelief, it's a lifestyle, something you live. I remember when I first started manifesting, we used to be simple things. Like for example, I might go to the customs to claim something and I want favor. And I imagine myself getting favor when I go and my customer and say, yes, you like to buy seal. I say, wait, shake, there is something you there. I say, where are they, man? I'm sick of thing. You understand? Things like that. And then so I say, oh my God, it's so magical. This is magic. You understand? It's working. I use it on simple things. And then as you grow, then you start to realize you could use it for bigger things. You understand what I'm saying? And you don't walk before you creep first. So let's say you believe that you could save $1,000 more on your bank book every month. You understand? Then you do an exercise and see that happening. And then because at the time there's where you're at and that's the amount you think and you feel comfortable that I could do. You understand? And then when that happened, then you could double it, I triple it. As you feel comfortable, so you don't worry with the manifestation, you don't wrestle with it. That's how doubt just come in. Like for example, right? Let me give a little taste or something, right? The story in the Bible, it is just a mental story, eh? It's not a real story of no man walking on water. And when they say Peter was walking in water, and then he looked down and he lost faith, and then it was sinking behind the bottom of the ocean, and it tell Jesus reach out and catch it. You think how man them up and what is so stupid? You're so dumb. You have to understand language. You have to understand symbology. You have to understand concept. You have to understand allegory. You have to understand personification. So you take a personification of a person, all of that. Okay, some people are gonna believe that. It was something literal, no, it's something teaching you. And you have to read between the lines. And so some people now, that was happening, they end up start to think, they start to look around, they watch the storm, they watch all of this. What's happening around them? They're watching the war in Iran. They're watching oil prices. They're watching this, they're watching stock market, they're doing this, all kind of freaking distraction. Then you see, as I was telling Nimrod, you answer official man, he going to attack you. Then he said, Nimrod, you are manifesting, teaches delusion and danger. See, you're just going to waste time with people like that. I'm not even going to read some of his comments. I'm just going to pass there. To be honest with you, you have to know something when to just leave people. You see, official man, you just going to give energy to official man, brother. He said, you accept the totality of self, you freely live, There is no danger in being free. Hence, religion says that meditation is bad. You can't give this official person hard food. You have to leave him with the milk. Just leave him. Leave him with the milk. He ain't ready for this. Um, being Willie, the truth. I agree with you 100%. Started watching you on YouTube, and you definitely provide food for thought. Thank you very much. Okay. You see, that's what I tell you. This could be food for some people, and it can be food for some people. If you have a little child, you can't give the little child food for eating. You kill the child if you give the child food. You give the child milk. You understand? You realize light. If a man in a cave for a length of time, in a dark cave, and you try to spot light in the eye, you blind the man. You have to give him a little bit of light, a little bit of light, a little bit of light. What I would do, I would recommend official person here to go read Play to All Glory of the Cave. This person need to read, he don't read. I know if you be honest, he could talk the truth. He don't read. That person don't read. So remember, don't waste all the time. He don't read. He need to go read. I recommend him books. You could go read you could get any one of my books and read them or get any other book. Okay? If you go and read Think and Grow Rich, you realize everything I say right here. And Napoleon, he'll hide it in a different way. Somebody said, I remember I saw a video of Bobby Hemmett saying, sleep with a candle lit. Yeah, and to be honest with this person who mentioned about King Toe, who mentioned about Bobby Hemmett. To be honest with you, when I found enlightenment at the early stage, one person I found was Bobby Hemmett. He had Bobby Hemmett and this man, Valentine, I think. And it used to be hard for me to listen to Bobby Hemmett because Bobby Hemmett used to use a lot of expletive or whatever you call it, which I normally use them now, plenty, even more than Bobby Hemmett. Okay, because at the time I was, coming out of secular Christianity and so on, I had all of the wrong belief, all the wrong programming, so it was kind of hard. And then after I realized, I started to become more enlightened and even more self-realized. Even though I had the awakening and thing, then it just keep expanding, right? Then I realized, the man is just how he express himself. And a farm is freedom. Freedom is like you want to express yourself whichever way feel best for you. Then I realized I don't use those words if I'm angry, which I hardly ever get angry. Okay, I don't use those words. But when I'm conversating, I like to use those words smiling. Yes, man. Yes. So, So, yeah, Bobby Hemmett, yeah, I learned a lot from Bobby Hemmett. No joke about that. That's why I always say, Farrakhan ain't shit. Bobby Hemmett is it. Yeah, man, Bobby Hemmett. I could talk about Bobby Hemmett and them. I listen Bobby Hemmett a few times already. I listen Panic a few times and so on and all of them. Those kind of people. You understand? But me, Farrakhan ain't shit. Okay, so, there is danger in being free. You can't just run outside naked. You keep bringing up religion, but isn't that a part of the freedom? You're just gonna argue back and forth with this person. This person just go extreme. Because if a person gonna just naked and run outside, is a person who's not controlling their mind. Okay, freedom, as I said before, is you basically understanding the game. Once you understand the game and how each game works and everything and so on, then you have the choice. You understand, to be you. Okay, freedom is you just being you. It's not you following the crowd. Okay, someone say rainwater good too. Yes, rainwater is good without the fluoride in it. Do you boil the water before you drink it? No, the water I drink, I don't boil it. It comes straight from under the earth with all the mineral. As I tell you, when full moon, the water become even more stronger. You put it down in a bottle, you pump the bottle. Same person again. I'm not even gonna read his stuff and then he just, I don't know if he's a troll or what, you know what I mean? Just go. Nah. Nah, don't argue this person, this official person, leave that person. King, no, you can't convince people that they're spirit having a human experience. That's something they can't convince people. They have to experience it for themselves. Really just mean superstition, yeah. Go listen to Stevie Wonder song, Superstition. Yeah, religious people be superstition, okay? And they're yappers too. Yappers. They yap all, they argue all, they go back and forth. And they don't produce nothing. They're just argumentative people. They don't produce nothing constructive. They think everything is about logic and they could reason. Experience. They have no experience. Ben Williams, the truth. What are your thoughts on a conscious death? Yeah, you can die consciously, and does it only happen when tragedy happens in your life? No, a person can actually leave their body, choose to leave their body, and don't come back. Okay, a person can do that. For example, let me give you an example. When I was having my experience, my awakening experience, and my rebirth. Okay, what seems to be like just like a woman would have we call it the Philippine tube, like that connect the baby. Okay, that thing that connect the baby. Okay, that tube, the long stuff for the baby connected to the mother. Okay, that um when I had my experience, like I was like that, and like a child again, and I wanted to cut myself away from it. Okay, and there's an innate ability in me that tell me no, not to cut myself away. I actually was even trying, and I didn't cut myself, and I stayed there. Okay, to have my experience and everything. But I cut my way from this death, and then I realized when death happens, that's how you see yourself. Extend it out in space like a child again, and so on. Then after maybe 3 days or 72 hours, so you cut away from that and you go. Okay. Well, at least yeah, that's one of my thoughts on that. Death and life is the same thing, just the opposite of the same thing. And the afterlife, the same thing. You come from source, you go back to source. You're source before you come here. Death is inevitable. You don't have to choose death. It is inevitable. It's part of. You can't die if you never live. Oh my. This official person here, I can't read somebody's comment. Nah, too much. Do you have to keep manifesting until your desire is fulfilled, or should you let it go after a period of time? You have to let it go after a period of time. You have to let it go. And you will know when to let it go. You have the feeling to let it go. And sometimes the quicker you let go something, sometimes the faster it manifests. As I tell you, most of the times I end up on manifesting and later on realize. I remember I manifested something and it took me a year before I realized. There's a business I manifest and it took me a year to realize it. There's an opportunity I wanted and I got the opportunity also, and it took me a while before I realized it too. Sometimes you write the desires down and so on, and sometimes put the book away and so on. Sometimes find back the book. I remember a woman who reached out to me with a child who was going to school and he wasn't getting good grades. And I told her what to do and so on, and she started working on it and so on. And I think it was a year or two later on, the woman was sweeping her home and she find where she wrote down the affirmation and so on for the son to get better grades and so on. And at the time when she find it, the guy was a student. And that's when she remember and she reached out to me and called me. She said she was clean and she find it. She totally forget. Some people don't forget. They don't drop it. That's why you don't ever manifest. You're the obstacle. Just as I said about the farmer, what? It almost was. Okay? Just as I said with the farmer, when the farmer drop the seed, he don't go back and go dig it back up. He just understand his law. It's a law. So don't argue with official person who talking and all of that. Leave people like that. They would ask ton of the questions. You see people who were trapped in religion for so much years, they won't answer in one day. Too much. Do you have to keep? Oh yeah, that the person has body manifested. No, you don't. You see, once you don't have a desire, you drop that. Then you go to a next one, and you go to a next one, and you go to a next one. Sometime in 1 year, if you check back, if you write down 7 things, you might find 5 or 6 of those things already manifest. Sometimes 7 of them manifest in your life. Okay? I just do this thing with fun. How could you ever see if somebody's philosophy is foolproof if you never put it to work? That's what you can't by reasoning or by logic. You have to put it to work. Challenge me on that, put it to work, and then come challenge me. Start to use your imagination towards something without any doubt. But if you are doubt and you are kind of mix up thought, it's too bad for you. You're your problem. Not me and not your problem. It's your own problem, bro. And somebody say, brother, how do you get rid of negative energies? It all depends on what you're talking about. Okay, if it's a negative energy that bothers you in the night and so on, I could help you, I could tell you what to do. If it's negative thoughts, you get it. Okay, because you always have positive and negative thoughts. But if it's something negative that trouble you in the night, you can reach out to me. I had those experiences already and I tell you how I got rid of it. Okay, it's simple too. Okay, so you have to be specific. You could also then drop me an email or something. Let me know if it's something bothering you. Because you have negative energies that bother people. I know people get squeezed every night from negative energy. I know somebody with a certain energy live right in the house. And I have it on flame here too. Okay, I understand. Okay, you see, my eyes go exactly on this. Let me read it. I'm not afraid to read anything. Let me read this. As I said, I wasn't going to entertain them, but I'm definitely going to read it. It said, I used to be a fan of your videos, but it doesn't make sense to me and sound like a scam. This is a person who been trying and it doesn't work. And it will happen. It will come seems to you like a scam because it doesn't work with you. Okay, that's why you need a cleansing. You need a purification. You see, you can't live in your God space if there isn't a purification. You can't become an alchemist if there's no purification. You see, all the questioning, all the things that you say, it is an expression of your consciousness. I know where you live in psychologically. That's why when people try these things and it doesn't work, he said a scam, but you never hire me, you never pay me. Have you official person? Have you ever hired me? Have you ever have a one-on-one with me? Have you ever paid me any money? Have you ever contribute to my work? If you ever did, how? And show the proof of it. So then you say it's a scam. But you can't see that marriage is a scam. You can't see church is a scam. You don't ever prove anything. Okay. But I'm telling you, anyone who put what I'm saying to work. I know people have been following me for years now. I know people normally donate to me because why? They're making 10 times more, 100 times more money than they used to make before they start listening to me. So what are you talking about? Oh my God. Your China is not working for you because your problem is you. Not nobody else. Your problem is you. Somebody say Bobby Emmett is still alive. He just stopped teaching. No, I think Bobby Emmett done that. But they never really make it public. I think Bobby Emmett already passed. He had a stroke and then I think he passed, but they never make it public. Somebody say a lot of these questions being asked in the chat are questions you can answer yourself, yeah, by looking within. The answers are there already. To find them, we must be in tune with ourselves. Exactly. I state that before too. I'm not a troll. Okay. I'm glad you're not a troll. Okay. But you're a doubter. You don't have enough to believe in yourself. You're giving up too quick. Okay? This could never be a scam, bro. Never be a scam. It could never be a scam. I know so much that this does work. That's why I just teach it. I know even if you ain't believe, it's still gonna work. Even if you ain't believe, it's still gonna work. I guarantee you, if you sit down and you research yourself, you will find certain things to manifest. You find some small little thing manifest. But you might find some little negative thing manifest and you can't deal with yourself. That's the problem, bro. Official man, that's the problem. Yourself. Can discipline in fitness lead to discipline in life and values? 100%. I'm a good example of that. That's why up to this day I remain fit. Up to this day. I just transfer all of the discipline over into every aspect of my life. So you're on the right path, brother. DMG 7706, yeah. You're correct, 100%. How do you get rid of negative energies, brother? This person keeps saying negative energies. I'm trying to understand. I mean, negative thoughts? Because you have negative energy that's follow people. So that's what I'm trying to say. What kind of negative energy you're talking about? Energies. What kind of negative energy? Your negative thoughts are negative things that bother you in the night. That's what I'm asking. You don't usually get arguments from people who are trying to come to an understanding. You get argument from people who want to be right, yeah, and need you to argue with their reasoning. Well said, well said, well said. Okay, that's why you can't think with people like that. You have to leave them in their ways. Somebody say, my brother, I have left him alone. Remember, this was going on while you were speaking here. Even Reagan wanted to have fought a brother when told about ISIS, yeah, Horus, Osiris, but he is now a teacher. That is so true. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. But there is just so much energy from you, boy. There's just real energy from you. Sometimes leave you drained. You may have been thinking of the umbilical cord. Yeah, umbilical cord is what I meant to say. Yeah, the umbilical cord that it shall be attached to. Okay. Too much. There you go, guys. Don't think against him. Okay. Um, Someone said hi. Hi to you. I got a trash can with copper pools in it to catch rainwater from the gutter. I'll email you a pic of it. Okay, you can email it, let me see. But spring water is the best water to drink. Okay, it's all my problem. Yeah, everything is a problem. It's your problem. You have to solve it by yourself. Nobody else can solve it for you. Okay, it's always you. Not until I realize I am the cause of everything in my life change. I am the cause of everything. Nobody to blame. Okay, and like for example, when I tell you like wedding and all them things a scam, and you could get caught in the scam if you don't understand energy and how people uses energy. And I'm speaking from experience. Okay, somebody say Bobby had a stroke back in 2013. I think he passed on to he did pass. Do teach fitness? Yeah, I do teach fitness too. Somebody say like black magic. All magic come from the same one source. Everything come from the mind. Everything come from imagination. Okay, so you could use your powers to hurt. You could use your powers to heal. All is the same thing. One power. Okay. Once the physical body dies, the spirit lives on. Of course. Yeah. An official man need to know that when the body die, the spirit lives on. Conscious never die. How do you become disciplined and consistent with fitness? Set goals. You have to set goals. Okay. You set goals. Sometimes to, taking part in like a competition or show and so on, those things help too. But set goals for yourself. Okay, set goals for yourself. And sometimes to just compete with yourself. Try to be the best you could be. Okay, but set goals, fitness goals. Okay, that will help you to be consistent. Come on, say, I just bought 3 of your books on Amazon. Gonna work on getting the physical copies. Yeah, the physical copies are better. Let me tell you why it's better. Okay, there's something that is very mystical and magical with your fingers, your hands. That's why, as I said earlier before, writing is magical and mystical. That's why everything they write, what they use while writing, all of the laws they set up. As I said before too, the people who created money, right? They write also the laws. That's why if you go and print money, what they're gonna do? They lock your ass up. They put you in jail for printing money. Okay, but you have the consciousness and you can print it from your consciousness, and the ideas and the things to do will come to you and you do them, and then the money will become your servant. It will follow you. Okay, you might not be as rich as them because they're the ones who printing it. Okay, but you'll be rich to your standard. Okay, I'm gonna say in New Orleans we don't have streams by me, just swamps. Okay. Someone says a magi, magic, imagination. Yeah, all those words come out of the word imagination. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, that's why they tell you magi visit Christ when he was born and all of that. And you think he's a man of 2,000 years ago. No, 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 no. You'll find your magical self when you find your Christ self. Okay? So, my brother and my sisters, I want to continue to do teaching like this to help you to manifest. Then feel free to ask question. It's all about everything you see I've been teaching is all about bettering yourself, but there are certain things I had to really highlight in past videos concerning, black people. It's very important, okay, that black people learn a lot of things, okay. And when I teach certain things, it have nothing to do about hate and towards any race or anyone like that. It's just that the state that our people in is very sad. Let me put it that way. It's a deep hole, okay, and it's course, and we have to break the course, and you have to tell it just like it is, okay. You're among the people in Africa who believe that there's a man in the sky. Among the people in Africa who is cursing themselves, who hate themselves, and who do not love themselves. How bad it is. It's real bad. Okay. Somebody said 9 books actually. Yeah. This person have almost all of my books. Okay. Because I think I have about that amount of books. Plus I have journal. I have a gratitude journal for him and I have a gratitude journal for her. So for the official person, I would recommend you can get my gratitude journal for him. And in my gratitude journal, I've already have the affirmation written. You just have to add the rest where I have stated in it, I am so happy and grateful now. And you just write what you're happy and grateful for. Okay. And once you could acquire that feeling, as you're about to go to sleep, and when you wake up, you have that feeling, you fall asleep in that feeling that you actually have it, you live the life. I'm official person, the person name official there. You live the life, okay? Don't try these things and then turn around and think it's scam, people trying to scam you. I have no time to scam anyone. Okay, if you want to scam some people on the internet, all you have to do is set up like a pyramid scheme. Because people that stupid, okay? Pyramid scheme is what does really scam people to take their money. Okay, this is someone teaching you the power that you have within yourself. Okay, and once you start to put this power to practice, okay, bit by bit, you see it. Then after a while, you start to live completely by it. Okay, I'm telling you the honest truth. I remember one time I had a feeling. You understand? I create the feeling of what it would be like for me to get a book that I used to read in school years ago called Tales from Shakespeare. The book they call Tales from Shakespeare. And I would have left school so many years ago. Okay? Let me see. Well, at the time, I would have left school about, let me see, more than 20 something years ago. Okay? When I had that feeling, what it's like to get back that book, to read about Romeo and Juliet and so on and thing, right? The Merchants of Venice and all of them Shakespeare writing. I'm telling you, within days, I went into Kingston, which is the capital city, and I happened to find a woman with that book on the outside, right on the outside. A woman with a table, and that book was there, and that was the only one. Tales from Shakespeare. And I remember when I cultivate that feeling, and that happened when I used to wake up early, and we used to sit and read at the outside. I used to go out in the porch and sit and read books. That was in COVID time. Okay, we used to go and just read books. Okay, and that's when I was relating some stories I read when I was in school with Tales from Shakespeare. And I just wish what it's going to be like and get the feeling that how I go feel and I get the book and I get the book. Exact green book. Meet a woman selling it on a table. Yeah. Someone, do you have any books on fitness and spirituality? No, but to be honest with you, I'm supposed to do a book on fitness and spirituality, but I have a book called Mind of a True Champion. Mind of a True Champion. A bodybuilding book, basically. With a picture of me flexing on it. I think doing a lot spread. Okay. But not in competition shape, more in like half season, like I think. Yeah. But in the Mind of a True Champion. But I'm supposed to write a book on fitness and spirituality, bodybuilding and spirituality. Okay. With my own experience in it too. Okay. Because before I really come to my full awakening, I had a Bible in one hand and a bodybuilding book in one hand. and I couldn't figure out what was happening. With tears in my eyes too. Okay, and I got both given to me, both physical and spiritual. That's why everything about you in the natural is about your spiritual. Is spirit want to have all of those experiences as you. Yeah. That's why you must accept the fact that you're a spirit and you're having a human experience. You're not human. Okay? You're not this humus. No. This is just the home. This is just the home. Let me read this and then finish because it's 2 hours now. And I wanted to just go about an hour to an hour and a half. He said, I'm glad I've found you on YouTube. After listening to you, I've noticed the real from the fake on YouTube. A lot of the Black American teaching on YouTube, most don't teach what you teach about. Thank you very much for that. Okay. And the thing is that every time I teach from the standpoint of what I see in the Caribbean and what colonialism would have done and what been going on with the ruling class and who the ruling class is and so on, and what I was brought up to believe and how I was brought up to think and how I was educated and all of those things. And so when I put it out there, I can't hide. I can't speak for people love me and give me views because I compromise and so on. So I can't hide it. And so when I read other books from other writers, I see they hiding it, especially Caucasian writers. Some of them is bestsellers and all of that, but they're hiding it. They keep hiding it because they don't want you to know what the Bible is really all about. So they're hiding it. And it's to preserve their self, preserve their race and everything. And I'm not against them for that because if I was them, I would have played the same game. So everybody have to play the game. But it's just about you understanding the game. I now understand the game that was played in my country and all the other countries around the Caribbean. And that's why I normally present myself a certain way. But when it comes to like, just settling down and teaching, about manifesting and all of these things, I definitely like to do those things too. Okay, when it comes to exposing the system and talking about race and all these things is very important too. Don't make nobody fool you. These things are very important. Whenever you hear somebody say they don't see color,